afternoon, everyone. I'm presenting a paper on transforming, not replacing the fossil fuel infrastructure. So, as we can see that presently 80% of the world's infrastructure is based on non-renewable sources of energy, based on coal, based on like all the dirty energy systems. And right now, a lot of investment is done in renewable sources. So coming to the point that if you are investing a lot of stuff in renewable sources, then present non-renewable infrastructure, what about that? It will just go to waste. So we need to come up with a technique that present non-renewable infrastructure, it can be converted into renewable infrastructure, not like building on newer and newer stuff. So that was the main idea for this concept, and based on certain statistics, I'm trying to prove this point that we should not like directly switch to renewable sources, but like gradually keep on changing our present infrastructure, like transforming, not converting. So we see that, as the demand for the fossil fuel increases, the production of the fossil fuels increases. That's what this graph shows. And this graph shows that today only like, you can see 20% or maybe like 20% or less is made out of non-renewable sources of energy. So, and rest all is like from all coal, gas, oil. So, and even the nuclear, even if you count nuclear, it's pretty less. So, just imagine if we just switch on, like if we just switch everything on like solar panels and like windmills, then all the infrastructure which is making this amount of energy will be all wasted. This is the statistics of investment in the solar panels and the windmills and everything. So like in the 2016, the investment in solar panels and windmills, it's exceeded the fossil fuel investments, and it's thought that it will be increasing more and more in the future. Coming to this is like this graph which shows like the separation of the renewable sources as compared to the coal and gas. So by 2040 it will be like pretty high. So it will be like present infrastructure will be completely wasted. So right now, again, I'm giving forward this point that what about the existing infrastructure? So today Tesla is producing like so many different cars. Like they say that there will be 2,000 cars produced per week. So that's pretty high amount. So what will be happening of present cars? So there are a few techniques that are already being commercially used for transforming the present infrastructure into renewable infrastructure. So one thing is on-demand hydrogen production. There is a company called How to Save Fuel. It's in San Jose in California. So they like keep the kit which do the electrolysis from the water, and the hydrogen and oxygen are separated, and it goes into the engine, and the efficiency of the car can be increased from 30% to 80% based on the car that you are using. Coming to the backward societies, the place where there is no electricity, people cannot invest more. There is something called as free electric bike, where people can do the cycling for like one hour, and they can get the energy for 1 day, but it's only for very backward class places, like where there is very less amount of investment done on such kind of power projects. So the poor areas in Africa, maybe also in India, they might use this kind of technique. Then for tourism, a lot of buses we see that it goes on empty. But there is something called as pedal bike. This is the best way for having the nice tourism. People can talk to each other, socialize with each other, have a good exercise, they can drink beer, and it's clean energy. this is like a hotel which has gym. People can do the cycling, and if they produce like a certain amount of energy, they get free meal. Let's talk about the nuclear energy. So right now in US itself, there is a company called Trans Nuclear Power Plants. So they produce energy from the waste of the nuclear plants. So and also like it's 80% more efficient, and you can see that the investment for Transatomic is less than all the present power plants. So if you want more energy, you can get it from trans nuclear power plants. And also the waste produced from trans nuclear power plants is just like it has to be stored for 100 years, and present nuclear power plants, the waste has to be stored for like thousands of years, or like billion years actually. So that's the point, that we can switch into these kind of infrastructure, and we don't have to like completely switch into solar panels and like windmills right away. We can transform our present infrastructure, and this will save a lot of fuel, and I mean a lot of money, and it will also be a cleaner approach towards like clean energy. So that's all my project about, and yeah.
Thank you.
And the resources. Questions?
A recent commentary in The Economist, actually was 2 months ago, talked about the problem that renewables have compared to conventionals, and they talk about something called marginal cost. So it turns out renewables have a very low marginal cost, and so that makes them actually overcompete with conventionals. So what was your comment about that? Do you know what marginal cost is? How does that play into this?
Marginal cost, according to my understanding, I guess it's like overall cost, like in 10 years or like in 20 years, does it give the profit or not? Is that it?
Marginal cost is actually, it's the increment to produce another increment of output. So if you want to add 1 megawatt
right.
for example, a conventional plant, there is no such thing as
yep.
1 megawatt. You'd have to do 100
right.
megawatts or 200, but it's very easy to do 1 megawatt of renewable.
That's
so
true. Yeah, that's true. It's easy to keep on increasing. Like if you have the solar power plant, it's easy to keep on increasing the power capacity of that power plant. But again, you are making whole new array of the solar panels or maybe windmills. But like over here, we saw about the on-demand hydrogen production. This basically it does the electrolysis of water, and it separates oxygen and hydrogen. And if it can run a car, why not it can run the present coal-powered power plants? And the output, the exhaust is water, like water vapor, and that's helpful for the environment. So if cars can run with this, and it's actually happening in San Jose in California, why not we can switch our present power plants with this? And this company has been made by like an amateur person. He is not a college graduate, but he had like 35 years of experience in this field, and he made this thing to happen. And if the college graduates or like college students, if they do proper calculations and work on this system, I'm pretty sure that they should be able to make such a kind of technique that can convert our present coal-powered infrastructure into.
Okay, thank you very much for that detailed explanation.
Any other questions? I do have, I guess, kind of curious. I read the paper, and it seemed like you had submitted this to a conference previously.
Yep. So it's me and my brother who is in India. We both made this project. Actually, I was in Germany where I was as an exchange student from Penn State, and over there I worked in a project where we were able, like, we planned to switch the pedal boat into solar powered boat. So I thought that what if this same kind of technique is applied on all the different infrastructure that we already have. If we can apply it on the cars, present power plants, So then I came to an idea that transforming is much better than replacing. Even the Tesla cars, when you use Tesla cars, you have to charge it from the plug, like from the grid. So grid is 80% of the grid, not 80, but like right now less than 80% of the grid is powered by coal-powered power plants. So we are not doing anything good. And also it has batteries. Of course, he has like a full recycle thing, but still, I have seen many different, also YouTube videos and read so much on the internet. I am not telling that it's all research paper on that. I couldn't find research paper that it's not good at all. But still, you can obviously see that batteries, it cannot have 360-degree cycle of recycling. And of course, cars, if you buy new cars, you have to throw away your old cars. So it's not possible in this way. And also in India, there's something called a CNG, that's compressed natural gas. People actually keep the cylinders of compressed natural gas in their gasoline-powered cars and increase the efficiency of their cars. So it's the same thing done by this guy, but with electrolysis. So this technique, it actually works. A little bit more calculation to be done on it.
Sure. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Great, thank you.